I hope everyone can see my screen. So I'll just introduce myself and then we'll proceed for the technical part. Okay. Myself Ram. I have 15 years of experience in IT, and most of my experience with System Center are now with Intune and O365 as well. So I have been working on SCCM or MECM, whatever you want to call it as. So that almost 13 plus years I'm working on. I have implemented SCCM for larger enterprises where the environment had CAS environment also. I've been teaching SCCM from last 7.5 years to people with a different platform, and that's about me. Basically, today we are going to have a demo session how we are going to teach SCCM and how it will be delivered to you. I'll just complete the how the course structure will be. So we can have one second. Sorry, guys. We can have a weekdays or weekends according to batches, according to the people's availability and the suitable time. So that's point number one. And you will be provided your own lab. That will be your own. So we try to arrange a lab for your with an Azure. So you can do your lab, and that will be 30 days. There's a 30 days free lab available if you create your own Azure account. So that's you will be doing it. I mean, I of course will be teaching you how to do and what to do, and then the practice you have a lab and available hands-on. So that's about lab. Uh, yeah. So this codes may depends whether it's a daily or it's a weekly or it's a monthly or what are available based on availability. This take 25 to 30 classes approximately. If it is if you a class include if you assume a class as a 1 hour session. So that's pretty much we are looking at. It may go down, it may go up, but depends on the people in the batch, people's understanding, people's having number of issues, number of questions. It may go down, it may go up also. That's not a fixed charge. So yeah, that's about it. Before we start, anybody have any questions or anything? Please let's understand about the how the course will be conducted, and if everything is good, we'll start. Can I take that as a no or no questions? Okay. Is it going to be a first class? It's not going to be a first class. So, our whole mod. The same person asking question. Now, this is just a demo class. How the codes will be and how the codes, what we are going to cover in the this codes, and how the session which I'm going to tell you and what's my experience to understand my experience to understand the way I've been explaining the codes to you. Is it fine or to basically understand each other in this. That is this session is all about. It's not a first class. Okay, got it. Good. So let's so the codes I'll tell you high what we are going to cover on the codes content. Okay, high level. I'm not going in detail, but high level we are going to. So I'll be explaining what is SCM or MECM. So including the how is the versions and all those things. What is the history of MECM? Okay, I'm keeping saying SCM because I'm old school. I'm still believe it's SCM only. So yeah, my preferred way to say is MECM as SCM only. So I hope people don't mind. You can understand that, I think. So yeah, what is MECM and how it has been introduced, and and then what is required to install a MECM, or what is the components, prerequisites, how to install, and what is the configurations need to be done to install SCCM. So once we do that, we'll be discussing. So this is this particular installation of prerequisites and everything is pretty much a theoretical class. From after this, there will be everything as practical. So how to configure SCM, what is boundaries or hierarchy configurations, boundaries, distribution points, everything. So that will be discussed. That's high level on configuration, discovery methods. After that, so application deployment as a package, as application, how you deploy, how you create, how you distribute, and then patching. Again, same how you configure your WSCS or your SUP, and how do you deploy patches, what is maintenance windows, collections, everything will be discussed. So that's after that, the operating system deployment. So this whatever I'm saying, after SSM installation, right? Everything includes practical. So again, as I said, you have your own lab and you'll be doing in your own lab, but I'll be showing on the lab. Okay. Uh, Excuse me. So the yeah, after few questions also there. Give me a second, please. Sorry. Yeah, you're right, Ashish. So uh that's and what is how to integrate with a cloud, Azure cloud, what is the new latest feature, how to upgrade SCM from one version to another version will be also covered in this class. Okay, so that's a high level. So if we can go in detail also. So I hope you guys have some idea about uh MECM. If you don't have idea also, that's fine. Okay, and also I'll answer basic questions before we start. So basic questions are, I don't have any CCM experience or MECM experience. I'm new to IT. Can I learn? Is it possible? Do I need to have a previous experience? So all those things, you don't need to have a previous experience. Just pretty much how you understand technology. It's user friendly and very I would say 100% a graphical interface only. You can just understand it. Just you have everything which you can read, understand, and then troubleshoot. Even if it is a troubleshooting also, so that wouldn't be any problem. Freshers can learn. Experienced people also can learn SCCM, so it's not a problem. So if you are a different domain, still can learn SCCM. That's not an issue. Uh, See, it might take an extra day for people who doesn't have any knowledge on IT environment, but I hope everybody is from here, from at least have a job and working. If it is completely new, still you can still do that. It's not a problem. So we can also have batches for the people who are from scratch starting to learn the technology, or they have L1, L2, L3. There's architect level also, which I can teach you. So that's shouldn't be any problem for anybody. So that's one more question. So yeah, so you'll be getting a recording of each and every session after the class. So I think that is also covered. So yeah, any other questions before we move on? Okay, I'll just give on high level. So before I talk about this slide, okay, I'll just give one. What is MECM or SCCM? So, or what is configuration manager? So why do you need it? So if you don't have a configuration manager, what happens? If you don't learn, what happens? So how is the market? Let's get so configuration manager or SCCM or MECM. So I'll stick with SCCM. Hope everybody understand that. So uh, it's a tool by Microsoft, who is the product owner or product developer or product design people. So it is introduced around 2000, I would say 1998 or 97. Okay. So, but it was not called as, SCCM, and there was no intention of whatever you're seeing as a capability of SCCM. That was not the case. So this particular technology, configuration manager or SCCM or SMS, so, was released to manage application deployment. Manage, when I say manage, to install application deployment remotely to the multiple machines or multiple endpoint devices. So that is the intention. Microsoft created a tool which they named it as SMS, System Management Service. So that is that there is this SMS. I think 1997 December or October they released this, and it was not in production. Early 2000, it was SMS 1.0, and then it became 2.0, and then SCCM. So that's a history of SCCM. So from till SMS 1.0, 2.0, it's not a, I would say it's not a major success in market for Microsoft, but it was there. So after they introduced this SCCM 2007, in the year 2007, that picked up a market for Microsoft. Okay, and that's where it is successful. From there it is successful. So there are companies who are very few. Okay, I can just count on the numbers. So still using SCM 2007 for some company requirement, so they're paying some extra money for to support from Microsoft if there is any issue. So that successful tool it is SCM 2007 that was introduced 2007, and then after that 2012 is the next version of SCM. After that, again, so and then CB came into picture, 1511 came into picture, and then now whatever you're saying, MECM current branch version is like depends on your month and your year. So let's say now you can see 1511 is introduced in 2015 November. So that's how they named it. So it was the naming convention was changed quite a bit. If you ask me, from last three let's say last 3 years, it was CB current branch, and then they went back to SCCM, and then they made it config manager only. After that, they again came back and say like now it will be MECM. So now I think Microsoft stick with that name. So that now it is MECM, Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Okay, what does it do? So the SCCM as a tool have I would say four major capabilities, which is vastly used in the market. The first one is management of devices in terms of inventory, in terms of reporting, in terms of uh, uh, remote desktop. We can still manage. So that's uh, one section. Another section is deployment. Deployment includes, again, three major roles, which is application deployment, which is same as installing a software on a machine. Patch deployment, again, installing a security patches. It depends what we have. We can install multiple type of patches, but security, I'm just taking a general name. So security patches on a endpoint. And another successful feature of SCM is operating system deployment, which is installing your OS on a computer remotely. So this particular task, as a system administrator, if you take a desktop administrator / system administrator, his roles and responsibility are basically whatever I said as of now, right? But he'll be doing it one machine or two machines manually with his own efforts. So let's say to install an application in 100 machines manually, so you need a people. Okay, I'm talking about a situation before PowerShell. If anybody comes and say like, I can I can deploy to install software in 100 machines with a PowerShell script, yeah, you can still do that. But so that capability of SCCM is to install the same software in 100 machines at the same point of time. Where if you want to do that as a manually, so it's a physical job, and you need 4 or 5 resources or 4 or 5 engineers to do that job. So that's pretty much SCCM. So to simplify an administrative job and execute a task for multiple machines or multiple devices at the same point of time, this is what it does. So it's not only an application, it could be patches, it could be operating system, it could be inventory. So these are the basic features of SCCM. So this is what SCCM does. So there is a detailed, steps, and this is high level what it can do. If you go in detail, so there are detailed manner, like to to install an application on a user machine, how you customize it, and how user feels it, how user has to see the installation. User should not be interrupted while the installation is going on. It has to install in the back end. So those are the customization. You can still do that. When we go deep into that, we'll do that. I'll just pause here if you have any questions. Is it any no questions, or people are not able to speak? Oh, fine. I hope you guys able to understand. So everything what I'm telling. Okay. So how do you do it, and what are these? I'm sharing a slide, right? So uh, you can see few things like asset management, deployment, compliance, security. I'll just run through each and every particular step here. So basically, after this slide, so this is, I think, 40 or 50 slide up. If this completely module one, this is, I think, 40 slides. I'll just run through this particular slide. It'll take another 15-20 minutes. So you'll get a fair understanding of what is you're going to learn, what technology what is the technology you're going to run. Is it particular for desktop support or network support? This is not for network support guy 100%, but this is for desktop support. Desktop support, you can say. This is I wouldn't say that this is a desktop support. This is a next level for a desktop support engineer. Yeah, but if it is a network engineer, this is completely different track. Okay. So what is asset management, and how SCCM or MECM will manage this particular section? Okay, I'll just run through. There's a so asset management means, so what is an asset? So if you're working for a company, and company gave you a laptop with a mouse, keyboard, charger. So all those four are assets of a company. Okay. So to manage those asset information with SCCM is what asset management called, or the number of things we call it as inventory. I think that's a just general English word, right? So inventory. So there is, you can manage hardware inventory and software inventory. Okay. So there is a limitation in hardware inventory, but there is no limitation in software inventory. So hardware inventory, so it can tell you motherboard details, hard disk details, number of processor details, and CD-ROM, every details. But external keyboard connected or not, what is the type of, it will still there is just very very few hardware limitation, which is it doesn't have some of the hardware components which is installed in your laptop. If you go in detail, but in a high level, you have CD-ROM, hard disk, motherboard, keyboard version, layout, and everything. You can still get those information. There's very few limitation in that. So basically, so and I just want to tell before I go in deep, right? So this is a agent based tool. So you have to install a particular software, which is we called as SCCM client or MECM client or client in general terms. So there's a software which given by Microsoft. So you need to install that in a end user machine which you want to manage with SCCM. So that particular agent will give all this information. Without that, nothing is possible. Whatever you're seeing in the screen, it's not possible. Okay, so that particular agent will collect the information. Like, so hardware, I told you the example. Software, like what software installed, what version of a software installed, what are the places it is installed, like which directories it is installed, when it is installed. So is it a what is it, license of a software is expired or not. So that information will give you, and will be collected from a machine and provided in a form of a report to a SCM administrator. So this is about inventory. Okay, so and there is a remote desktop. I think the remote desktop means, so let's say you user have a problem. You're working as an administrator and user have a problem of one particular application is not opening. So you have to connect to his machine to see what's going on, to what's the problem. So that is remotely managing you're remotely managing the problematic user machine, right? So that's a remote management. So that's still possible. So basically, enterprises will use the third-party tools like TeamViewer, DMware, what is it? AnyDesk. So those are the things, right? So those are remoting tools. But with this, you can still access endpoint user machines. You can do that. Software metering is again licensing, managing or managing and maintaining of a software licensing things. Okay, that's asset management that comes under. So deployment, I already covered this. So application management, nothing but installation and installation on a particular application. So there are different forms. There is a package, there is application. So you can install almost whatever the major executable files. You can install exe file, .msi file, you can install application from Apple Store, from Google Play Store. So that's pretty much possible. So there is virtual applications also you can install. So you can install for a specific user or a specific computer for specific department. So all that possible. Again, install, uninstall also possible. And if I want to say upgrade is also possible. It's a one version to another version. So software update management, which is we call a technical term is patching. So security patching. Now you understand almost I would say 80% of endpoint management in the world is managed by SCM or MECM. And whatever the 80% will be, whether they use other functions or not, they will use software update management or patching with SCM. That successful it gives you so much in-depth knowledge and in-depth reporting and in-depth troubleshooting information for the machines which are not able to install. And you understand the current world, how important to patch your machine, upgrade your machines. So because digital world is like growing like anything crazy, and you have to be up to date to catch up the made the hackers what do you say, so to avoid the hackers, I would say. So that's software update management. So by default, Microsoft will release patches on every second Tuesday of a month. So, and then the patches will come to SCM. There's some configuration technical things we have to do. But on a high level, so after second Tuesday, you can pretty much deploy those patches. There are types of patches: critical patches, security patches, cumulative updates, so drivers. So those are the different categories of patches will be available. So that's software update management or patch management. So next, operating system. So so we have to install operating system on. So basically, let's say you bought a laptop, it will come with an operating system. But that's your personal laptop. So if your enterprise or your company has to buy a laptop, they can't use the operating system which is provided with the laptop. Why they can't use it? Because that is not a company standards. There are every company have their own standards, some security baselines. It has to meet some security things. and it has to join to domain, have latest update, latest drivers. So some group policies, a lot of things. Actually, there is. So for what happens is every enterprise will create their own custom image, and then that image will be deployed to the end user machines, which is provided to the company employees. So that customization will be coming under that particular step, or that particular process is called as operating system deployment, ROSD, RSOE. So OSD is operating system deployment, SOE is standard operating system environment deployment. So in whatever you say, that's terminology is different, but process is same. So which includes upgrading operating system one version to another version. Let's say Windows 7 to Windows 10, which is no longer in case, but the real-time example is Windows 10 to Windows 11. Okay, so that's an operating system deployment, upgrade, and maintenance. If you want to manage it, latest software, latest drivers, deploy, so BIOS updates, all those things can be done for operating system deployment. Uh, that comes under operating system deployment. So, and content management. Now, I will not be discussing on this in this call, because that's something which you have to do after half of your codes, after completing of, let's say, 30, 40 to 45% of completion of your codes. If I say now, you would understand a bit. So I'll just skip that. So compliance, power management, health, client health, coming under, even reporting and monitoring comes under compliance management. Compliance management is to comply according to some particular restrictions or some particular settings as per a company. So what could be a compliance? Let's say you are using a mobile device, and if your company want to manage your mobile device, your personal mobile device, or your company mobile, whatever, so you take it. So you can't just use without anything, right? So you can't just browse something malicious, and it may impact your company network. Once malicious software enter into your laptop, your mobile, or any device, once you connect to your company network or access some company resources, it will automatically get into their network, and it will just corrupt it. So corrupt the complete company. So to avoid that, company will define, hey, I can only allow you or your machine, your mobile, your OS, or whatever the computers you have, if you met these particular conditions. So that's conditions we call comes under compliances. So you have to have a antivirus software installed. You have to have a typical whatever the password, which is a lengthy of so and so on number of characters and alphanumerics. All those settings will be defined. So if your device meets that settings or requirement, your device called as a compliant device. Then it is allowed to access your company resources. So those compliance settings will be managed. And power management. Let's say you're working for a company, and you have a desktop or a laptop, whatever you take. Laptop is not a great example, but I'll take desktop as an example. So your shift is 9 to 6, and SCM team want to install patches, and you after when you are going at 6 o'clock, leaving your office at 6 o'clock, you shut down your computer. What happens if a security if SCM administrator or somebody want to install some patches or update your system? So he'll be sitting somewhere and your machine is shut down, so you can't access it. So there is SCM have capability to power on those machines remotely. So there is some networks things need to be configured, but so basically you can sit at your computer, you can turn on the machine which is somewhere else, and then you can do whatever you want. I mean, whatever in the sense, like you can deploy application, deploy upgrade operating system, and install patches or install drivers, whatever you want to do as part of the administration. So that comes under power management. There's the technical term which is called as wake on LAN. So through LAN, you can just wake that up particular machine which you want to do a update or upgrade, whatever you want. So client health is again SCM client. I told you, right? It's an agent health to monitor how many number of machines are active, how many number of machines are not active, to troubleshoot all those things comes under. So reporting. So reporting, by default, SCM have or MECM have a 400, approximately 400. It's 393 or 394, some differs environment. So for approximately 400 default reports available. So what is these reports? Especially like your deployed application for 1,000 missions. You want to see how many successful, how many failure, and what is the reason for failure. So how many will get it today, or how many are restart pending. So those kind of things. That's not only there's one example. Okay, so I'm talking about 400 default reports, almost 400 report default available. And if you want to customize your own report also, you can still do that. So SCM uses data. So there is a database attached to it for SCM. So that is a SQL based. So you can write your own SQL queries and you can get reports also. There is something called WQL query also. Again, you don't understand a bit now, but when you go in deep, you can do that. So there's WQL query you can write and get a report. You can write a SQL query and report. And again, you may have a question like, do I need to learn SQL? Not required. Don't need to worry about SQL. So that there is the SQL administrator, the DB administrator or DB administrator will be there. They'll be taking care of that. So that's about reporting. So monitoring, again, to monitor you did something, or you deployed patch, or you deployed application or operating system, or you want to you have a task which is running and you want to see. So you can, whatever you, let's say you are an SCM administrator, you have a 4 members team, and you can see everything what the other 3 members are doing. So pretty much, so you can monitor everything in detail, and each I would say minute details also you can see under monitoring, or in SCM as a technology, right? You can capture a mind. It will say somebody right clicked, somebody launched SCM console, you can still do it, and somebody deleted something, you can still do it. Still find out who has done it. Of course, it takes its own time, investigation and time, but there's a data available if you want to know. Okay. Uh, Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'll take that as no, and then I'll just complete this, and then we can wind it up here. So security. So this is not the security of a machine. Okay, this is not a security of a device. So uh, I don't know how many of you are aware of it. There's a Microsoft antivirus, which is now it is renamed as Defender. It was Endpoint Protection previously. So now it's Defender. So Defender can be integrated with SCM for better administration, for reporting. And also Defender nowadays Defender is coming with M365 license, which is a cloud-based solution also that's coming. So you can just say this endpoint protection. So Microsoft pretty much looking at the cloud-based only. So this is, you can say, after a year or two, it completely moves to cloud. And again, as I said, it's renamed as Defender. So role-based administration. So what is role-based administration? Let's say it's just like enabling SCM access for different people. Let's say you have a 4-member team, or as a previous example, right? So out of 4, somebody know some part of SCM very well. Somebody know some part of SCM, or somebody know everything. When I say somebody knows some part of, when I say, let's say you have four member, there's a team lead and there are 3 more team members. Team lead may know SCM end to end, and there's a new guy joined, that's 2 years experience, he can only do patching, or he knows only patching. And there is another guy who can do application app software deployment plus patching. One guy may know only operating system deployment. So you can't provide the access to the all 3 rest of the 3 people with the same level of access, or you can't give the full access to them. That's not. Or you can put this same example for L1 team, L2 team, L3 team also. You have L1 team who should have a basic read access, L2 team who should have access at certain level only. L3 team should have full access. So whatever the example you want to take it. So you to customizing the access for that particular team or particular team member called as a role-based administration. Depends on what is capable of that particular resource, he'll be assigning the permissions. That is a default 40 different permissions available. So you can just enable whatever required. If you want to customize something, you can still do that. So that's about the Sccm as a technology or MECM as a technology. That's what you can do if you learn this codes. So again, you may have a question like, if I learn this, can I go and perform in my current job? I can't guarantee you that, because it's depends on company, what they want to do and what they are doing it. So I hope you understand that part. Yeah. With that, I want to stop, and if you have any questions or anything, I'll take it. Yeah, please let me know if anybody have any questions. Is it mute? Is it Amit? Is it muted for everybody, or I think you can unmute the line, Amit. I can do it. Is it? Okay, I'll do one thing. Yeah, I think you guys able to unmute and talk, right? Okay, fine. Yeah, Arvind, you have a question?
Yeah, Ram. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Is it on-premises configuration manager or cloud-based configuration manager?
Okay, so I don't know how many of you are aware of that. There is only one configuration manager. Okay,
Okay.
so the one you're talking about is right. The cloud-based is a uh, tool name called. It's not a tool. It's a SaaS solution, or Microsoft cloud solution, which is Intune, which is not a configuration manager. Okay, so on-premise configuration manager, what we are talking about SCCM. So, and we cannot say it's an on-prem solution, because you can pretty much manage Azure VMs also, and not a server operating system, which is a server operating system. It's a client operating system, which is in cloud or which is in on-premise. You can still manage that. So this particular solution, what we are talking about, is not limited that, but so the how to managing of these devices, is it through cloud or cloud web console, or from a normal the traditional console, is this is SCCM. So SCCM is, you can have your physical console where you have to install the application or executable and then access it, whereas Intune have also a Microsoft cloud solution, which is a cloud based. You have to access that from a web. There is a big difference in Intune and SCCM. Very big difference. So SCCM is 20 years old tool, and I would say more than 20. So, and Intune is also like 8 to 9 years old, but there's a lot of thing Intune has to do. So both are Microsoft technologies, by Microsoft tools only. Yeah. So this is, I mean, in your understanding, this is on-premise, as per your understanding, but this is not limited to anything. Hope you understand.
Yes, Ram.
Yeah. Good. This is complete course free of. Uh, no, this is not a free course. This is cost-based course. All right. Anyone have any questions? Is it I am that good, or you guys are not able? Don't want any ask any question. I don't understand anything. I don't see anybody talking. So either my explanation is so good, or you guys didn't understand a bit. Okay. We don't have any questions. That's fine.
Yeah, Ram. What are the prerequisites to learn this SSM?
Could you come again? So what are the prerequisites for?
For learn SSM? Is it
As I told you,
needed?
right, initially, so
Mm.
there is no prerequisite. Anybody can learn SCM. It's basically a graph GUI based, so there's no scripting required. There's no previous experience required. See, if you're completely a fresher to an IT also, you can still learn SCM. But thing is that it will take a little bit more time for you. That's it. That's the only thing. I mean, if somebody is able to, if, let's say if you take a Windows administrator, okay, or desktop administrator, or system engineer, so they will capture each step. Let's say they will take 2 hours to learn some particular topic. Okay, if I say something like, let's say Active Directory, they might have already aware of it. But the people who are starting from scratch, they don't know what is Active Directory. So I just need to tell them this is Active Directory. So that is an additional step. That's it. That's the only difference it makes. Anything else?
Hello.
I
I told that we can able to run application through SCCM in user system. In the same way, we can able to run script through SCCM in user
correct.
system.
Yes, we can.
If any
If it is a
bash,
PowerShell or VB, you can do it.
okay. If I want to run a bad script means we can able to push
You
through
can able
SCCM.
to. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways to do it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, not only one. Yeah. I would like to know the SCM ports which are mandatory. Uh, Mandatory. So the question is actually, I would say, speaks a lot actually. So there's lot of port numbers. If you take HTTPS, which are mandatory, 8443, that's with mandatory, port 135 for SMB, and you need, if you're configuring DHCP for operating system deployment, again, 67, 57, 55, 61, 63, and there is support for SQL 1433 to 20222 for SQL broker, and port number 139 for remote communication, and 85031, 83005, sorry, yeah, 8503, not 03, sorry, 31 and 31 and 30, 85031 and 30 is for WCS, to sync with your client. So there are a lot of ports, if you ask me. But there are mandatory ports, HTTP, HTTPS. So your question is, Mujib, I would say I need more information. So if it is between management point to client, or is it between SUP to client, or is it between SCCM console or SCCM management, SCCM primary server to database, or is it that database SMS provider to SCCM client? Your question is too big question, basically. Yeah, yeah. So I hope you understand. Intune and SCCM, which one do you recommend? Uh, Good question. I would say my recommendation. Okay, I'll tell you. I don't want to answer that because I know both. So you in future you may need both also. So, but I'll tell you, it's to answer your question is that, is it what is you wanted? Okay, if you have a company which is majorly running on premises, or let's say on premise AD, and you have a lot of machines, endpoint laptops which will be used, and 90% companies will move for SCM. And my recommendation to move a company, I'm an architect as well. So I'm a solution architect as well. I design a lot of things. So my recommendation, go for SCM. But I can't tell you to learn SCM because it's up to you what you want to be. So okay, I'll also add few more things to that. So learning Intune is a limited thing. Okay, because if you want to learn Intune, it's not stopping there. No company with, if we say I only know Intune, there's very few companies need a resource who knows Intune. You should know Azure Active Directory, you should know Intune, you should know M365 or some of the workloads of them. Can you go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so it's, but if you learn SCM, only SCM, you have a career, you can continue to do good things. Okay, with one single SCM, you can have a career. But Intune, it's limited. Okay, so it's another 5 years still learning SCM. I don't know what is the plan after 5 years of a Microsoft. I don't know basically. So, but I can guarantee you for 5 years, SCM is again a leading technology for the endpoint management. 100%. I can guarantee you that. So there are people who said Intune is going to replace SCM for sure, but that's not happening. I'm 100% sure about that. So every 4 months you'll get an update of SCM. There's a new version of SCM comes in every 4 months. So Microsoft still investing lot of money and lot of research and things on SCM. So SCM is not going anywhere. But if you learn SCM, Intune is piece of cake for you. It's just a piece of cake because you know more things in SCM. I would say Intune is not at all a mature tool as of now, as on date. So it's, if you are an Intune administrator, you're seeing something today and you may not see the same thing tomorrow. So it's completely, to answer your question, it's completely what you want to be, what is a requirement, and which company you're working for. A company is looking for a cloud-based solution or on-premise based solution, how large it is. If it is a very small company, there is no meaning of having their own data center or managing things. But end of the day, they should have if it's a small company, most of the small companies, let's say below 1,000 user based companies, they don't want to spend on infrastructure basically. But end of the day, they should have their own computer, of course, a laptop, I mean to say, to connect to do something, right? So they don't want to go for an on-premises. So they'll directly purchase services in Azure and they'll manage it from Azure, and the Intune comes in with that or with single license as well. M365, just buy M365 license, or M3, whatever the E3, E5, whatever the licenses, depends on your thing. So you can still get that. So it's a long question, but answer is, my recommendation is what you want, where you're working and where you want to work in. So yeah, that defines you, which one to learn. Okay. Do we have knowledge on scripting for SCM? No, we don't need to. It's not mandatory. Any other questions?
I have a question. Hello.
Yeah.
Suddenly I have a requirement to install a new application for 10 machines means if I pushing the application in my user system means how many minutes it will take to install in apply in client system.
It depends on the size of a application, but it should not take more than 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But if it is size, let's say if it is a big application, let's say if it is SAP application or a Microsoft Office whole bunch, which is like three gigs of application, it may take more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes. But user doesn't see that. Okay, you can customize that. User cannot see, and it won't interrupt an existing application. Let's say you are upgrading MS Office in a user machine, and user is using Outlook, Teams, and Word and everything. So you can configure, you can deploy an application next version of MS Office to a same user machine where application being used while application being used, it can upgrade in backend. You can customize that. So it depends how you want it, and you can still do that. So it's not a problem. It won't interrupt end user time. Yeah.
Okay.
So nowadays everyone is working on in cloud. Which tool I have to learn, either SCM or Intune? If I think I hope I answered that question on a pretty much extension level, Srini. So it's everyone is working on a cloud. Everyone is working on a cloud, but it's not every company has to be in cloud. So it depends on a company. See, again, I'm telling you, the SCM is not limited to on-premises. Again, for everybody, it's not limited to on-premises. It is, or it can manage Azure VMs also. Or if you have your complete infrastructure is, let's say your production servers, your servers, everything is there in Azure or AWS or some other cloud solution. Still SCM can manage that. So what is the matter? You can still learn SCM.
We can able to control user computer in work from home through SCCM.
You can.
Okay.
If you have E3, E5 cloud licenses, what are the services can avail in SCM? Zero. Answer is zero, Muzi, because question is incorrect. I would say. I mean, I would not say incorrect, but question is, if we have E3, E5 cloud license, what are the services can avail in SCM? There's no relation between your licensing and your SCM. So question is not correctly mentioned. So E3, E5 license are for Microsoft services, which are MS Office, all the Office applications, Microsoft Teams, and Power Apps, Power Automate. So those are the things. Those are two different licenses. So we're comparing two different licenses. It's not, yeah, I hope you understand. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. And if anybody have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we can just wind up. Thank you, guys. So if we have any questions, please email back and circle back to us. We'll hope we can answer if we have any more questions. Thank you.
Hi, Ram. This is Sai speaking. Last question.
Yes, yeah.
Ram, what about for tomorrow's session, for next sessions?
Yeah, so
actually we have joined through LinkedIn that link only. What
okay.
about for the next sessions?
You just
Is
get
there any
back
special link or
Okay, hold on. Amit? I think he's
Hi Ram, can you please share my number to everyone?
Yeah, so you can just put it in your in this chat.
Okay, okay. Sure.
Yeah. Amit is sharing his number. You can just get back to that mobile number, and he'll have information. Or you can get right back to an email also from where you received. Or we have LinkedIn page, and we have you just put your email address as well, Amit. Our email address as well. Yeah. So you can get back to that email address or to that mobile number. Thank you. Okay, guys. Bye.